vintage sand.
Hello, 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 brothers and sisters! Let me tell you the story of love and hate, H-A-T-E. It was with this hand that old brother Cain struck the blow that laid his brother low. L-O-V-E. You see these fingers, dear hearts? The right hand, friends, the hand of love. Now watch, and I will show you the story of being a movie fan. Old brother left hand hates a fightin'. There are many, many films that most people hated and which have not, like so many other ignored upon released films, gone on to become cult classics. But, wait a minute. Hot dog! Love's a winning! Yessirreee! It's love that's won, and old left hand hate is down for the count. For you see today, brothers and sisters, Team Vintage Sand is doing episode 68. Can you believe we made it to 68? Thanks for coming along this ride with us. We are going to make the case for a wide variety of films that are generally hated by a large majority of film goers and critics that we kind of love. And so it's a kind of a sorry not sorry episode. But let us introduce the members of Team Vintage Sand Inclusive. Johnny up.
Hello, people. This is John Meyer, and I promise I won't leave before the podcast is over like someone did during a TV interview yesterday.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's not even. Well, we know where he'll be tonight. He'll be at the Knick game tonight, so we can go say hello if we want. Don Michele.
Okay, yes, this is Michael Edmond, and I don't promise that.
He's going to be offended by some of the movies we mentioned.
And, you know, it turns out in doing this that the three films we've chosen cannot be more different from one another. We go all the way back to the 40s, and I come all the way up to a film released just 4 years ago, and we're ranging from well-known directors and regarded directors like Paul Schrader and Ang Lee and Arthur Penn to good, solid directors like George Roy Hill and Mark Robson, to a couple of directors whose obscurity is very well deserved, or as in the case of my last one, yet to be determined because she's so brand new. And so let us dive right into it. After apologizing for we have been dealing with life issues and medical issues, but we are back. We are back for real. And Mikey, you want to kick us off? What is your first film that you love that everybody hates?
Well, I don't know if everybody hates this. In fact, you hated it because you wrote in when we did our musical.
Oh, I know where you're going.
About calling...
Is it a late 60s musical?
Yes,
Mike?
yes,
Whoa,
it is. And
beat the drums.
Yes, because here comes Thoroughly Modern Millie. And I have to say, you have since deleted that from the website because
to you.
Well, not only out of respect, but you'd called it a big failure, and it wasn't.
No, I know.
It was the Thoroughly Modern Millie.
It did well, didn't it?
It did very well.
Just so desperately out of touch with the times.
Directed by George Roy Hill. Well, all musicals were in the 60s. So was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Hey.
Yeah.
I love Chitty
I know. That's why I'm using that against you. But this was George Roy Hill's, I think, 5th movie. He had just made his debut with A Period of Adjustment in 1962, then Toys in the Attic, The World of Henry Orient, and then, unfortunately, the year before Thoroughly Modern Millie, he directed Hawaii, which was a major disaster.
Well,
Have either one of you ever gotten through it?
No.
I have, actually. It's not terrible.
You get Bette Midler in there for a few minutes.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
But I can see why it didn't,
light them up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it weighs a ton.
Well, this movie,
Julie Andrews is kind of miscast.
Yeah. And she had 2 bombs in 1966. That and our favorite Hitchcock movie.
Our favorite Hitchcock film, which we have to go every episode. We have to mention every episode. We have to do a Torn Curtain episode, guys. Come on. All we need is what? A sponsor. That's right.
Yes, but that means I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
And I never want to watch that movie again.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Except for the one scene, it's really bad.
It makes Topaz look like Citizen Kane.
Anyway, getting back to Thoroughly Modern Millie, it was George Roy Hill's fifth movie. It was produced by Ross Hunter, and it was Universal's first roadshow movie. They had never done a roadshow before, and one of the problems that they had between the director and producer was he wanted to cut it. And Roy Hill said, Ross Hunter said, no, it's got to be 3 hours long. And that was most of the criticism of the movie. It was too long.
I haven't seen it in a while, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
I remember when it first opened, I saw it, and I kind of liked it. But then I saw it fairly recently, and I was like, this really isn't good.
It's not, but it's got a lot of good things in it.
It has moments.
I think the title song is actually quite good. It's much better than the Broadway musical.
I liked Sutton Foster, but I didn't like the show.
I remember, the one thing I remember about the show is using Dorothy Parker as a villainess in that one
Yeah, I remember.
one party scene. And whatever you want to say about Dorothy Parker, this is a woman who left all of her money to Martin Luther King,
Right.
and the NAACP the year before King died. And to this day, my theater company wanted to do a Dorothy Parker play. We had to write to Baltimore to the NAACP for the rights.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Hardly a villainess.
No. I happen to also love Dorothy Parker, but that's besides the point. Anyway, getting back, I don't know if you know that it's about 1920s New York, the flapper
culture.
where Julie Andrews plays this woman in a boarding house, and she's befriended Mary Tyler Moore, who doesn't have a soul in the world, and it's run by Beatrice Lillie as Mrs. Mears, who's the villainess. She kidnaps women who don't have any relatives into white slavery.
Hey.
Beatrice Lillie is a very interesting career. This is, apart from movies in the early 40s, this is her first movie since the early 40s, except for a cameo in Around the World in 80 Days. And unfortunately, she had Alzheimer's at the time. And if you watch the movie, you never see her in a 2 or a 3 shot. It's almost always... She's very funny in it, but she could not remember lines at all.
Yikes.
And, yeah. But I didn't know this until actually I went to see a movie showing of it on Broadway when Carol Channing was doing Dolly, and she told the story. And then, of course, Carol Channing is in it, and she does her shtick. She only made 3 movies, Carol Channing, and she got Oscar nominated for it. James Fox is kind of funny in it. John Gavin. It is my favorite John Gavin movie.
Wow.
He's actually, there's a couple of moments he's really funny.
He's funny because he kind of does himself.
Yeah, he
But it's a
almost
parody.
makes fun of himself.
It's a parody of himself. And the New York Times gave it a pretty good review. A thoroughly delightful movie, a kidding satire in a rollicking song and dance vein, and a romantic, melodramatic fable that makes cliches sparkle like jewels. Roger Ebert gave it a 4 stars, but admitted later that in hindsight he wasn't sure about that.
Well, I think it hasn't aged well. I mean, there's no harm in that. I mean, that's a lot of films.
Was it something that George Roy Hill really wanted to do, or was it he just like director was hired who...
He was kind of hired, except when when Ross Hunter wouldn't do the cuts that he wanted to do it, he walked away from it.
So Ross Hunter was just warming up for Lost Horizon.
Oh, God. This is much, much better.
The musical!
And the funny thing is, he wanted to do a film adaptation of The Boyfriend, and the rights were too high. So he...
Didn't Ken Russell do The Boyfriend? Right, with Twiggy. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep. And that wasn't successful at all.
Nope. Well, I'll give you this. It's better than Sweet Charity and Paint Your Wagon.
Absolutely.
I'll give you that
And
much.
also, it got 7 Oscar nominations, including Channing for Supporting Actress. The score, the non-songs, was scored by Elmer Bernstein.
There you go.
Who won his only Oscar.
Oh, good. All right, just for that reason, then it's.
But
good.
it's very funny because you see him do those mini interviews that Turner Classic Movies has, And he says, yes, I did win an Oscar for Thoroughly Modern Millie, my only Oscar. And he kind of looks at the camera like, why?
Well, it's like Ennio Morricone winning for Hateful Eight of all things. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And the songs were by Jimmy Van Heusen and Sammy Kahn, arranged by Andre Previn. But it was, as I said, the 7th highest grossing movie. And if it comes on Turner, I don't have a copy of it, but if it comes on Turner,
you won't
give
turn
it
it
a
off.
watch.
All
I
right.
give it a watch. It's fun, as I said, it's the only times really you can see Carol Channing or Beatrice Lillie in anything.
No, and
major. And I think it's, apart from Victor Victoria, I think it's Julie Andrews' best musical.
No,
I'm not a big fan of, well, I guess Mary Poppins, but I don't count that. But I'm not a fan of The Sound of Music. I'm sorry, I like this one better.
No, and what I like about that choice, Mike, is that we tend to, say, oh, Dr. Dolittle, and Dr. Dolittle marked the point where all the musicals between there and, say, Fiddler on the Roof were bloated, out of touch, and this one is not.
This one was not bloated. That's the reason it made so much money.
Yep.
I mean, I looked at the 10 top money makers. Camelot was number 10, but Camelot was so expensive, it didn't make its money back.
Camelot is
Or did they kill that?
boring.
Wow.
The show itself is boring. I went to see it a few years.
Yeah.
It's not good.
All right.
Anyway, that's my...
so beautiful. So a case for in that a film that, as I said, gets lost in that, that generalization that all the musicals in the late 60s, early 70s were overstuffed and bloated, and Mike makes a good case for Thoroughly Modern Millie from 68. 67. Sorry about that. My first one is a film that I absolutely loved when it came out and has been absolutely forgotten, and that is Light of Day, which was made by Paul Schrader in his not very good Paul Schrader period. He was doing crap like Mishima and Patty Hearst and, kind of one bad film after another. And it was really a sort of a vanity attempt by Michael J. Fox, who, of course, had just done Back to the Future, to show that he could play a character who's a little darker than darker than the character he played on Family Ties on TV. And I think he does a really...
Yeah, he's pretty good in it.
I think he does a really good job.
What's the story?
Well, the story is... And the reason it supposedly failed was because it's about a brother and sister who are in a band in Cleveland, very, very lower working class, but they're working hard to make it, and, all the obstacles that they face. And it's a very good portrayal of the obstacles that a young band faced in those days. It's different now, of course, but they decided to cast Joan Jett, has the sister who had never acted before. Springsteen wrote them a great title song, which, by the way, Springsteen still does in performance a lot of the times. He'll still do Light of Day. And I don't know, I thought Joan Jett was wonderful.
I think she's really good in it.
Right? I mean, obviously she's believable in the music scenes. I mean, I've been a fan of hers since The Runaways, so we're going back like 50 years now. But, is she as good as Bjork was in her one movie in Dancer in the Dark? No. But I thought she was believable in the dramatic scenes. I thought the reveal at the end about why she's so angry was a point well taken.
The first time you saw it, did you see it coming, or were you completely surprised?
Oh, I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not good at
no, because when I was watching it, and I would never have guessed it was a Paul Schrader movie if I didn't read the credits. I would just never ever guess that. But when I realized it was a Paul Schrader movie, I saw it coming.
Right, and one of the things I love, so for me, there are 3 reasons to love this film. First of all, it's Joan Jett, who I think is really kind of a magnetic presence and is utterly believable. And a great cast. Michael McKean is one of the band members, and your girl Jenna Rollins is the mother. And
why did I see this?
And she's really good. And to me, the other, and as I said, it really gives you a feel for Cleveland in those days in the late 80s when it was, when the river caught fire and it was just considered a model of urban ruin.
This did no business, right?
It did okay. It didn't quite make its money back, but it did all right. Mostly on Michael J. Fox's name, and people were curious about Joan Jett. I mean, and in that sense, it kind of reminded me of Blue Collar, because Schrader was very good at sort of delivering that working class. They all work in, warehouses and factories. But the other thing is that, and possibly, and I will take argument on this, is that it may be the closest that Schrader ever got to being autobiographical. Because Jenna Rollins' character, everyone knows who's a film fan. Schrader never was allowed to go to see a film until he was 17. Dutch Calvinist upbringing, oppressive parents.
Oh my God, I did see this film.
See?
Now I remember it.
It's like PTSD. We triggered all right.
Because I remember the restrictions.
Right, and she's a Bible thumping mom, but it turns out, of course, that they love each other and blah blah blah. But I mean, this seemed to be a fairly autobiographical portrayal of what Schrader's life was like growing up in a Bible thumping home. And Schrader he doesn't give stuff away. So to me, that is totally another reason to see it. So for no other reason, the music scenes are great. Michael J. Fox, as you saw in Back to the Future, he can play guitar and he sings well. The band scenes are really, really good as they're struggling. You get a great cameo by Jimmy Vaughn and the Fabulous Thunderbirds. And I'm kind of sorry that Joan Jett never really pursued this. I mean, she's become more legendary with every passing year. I've seen her in concert and it's a religious experience, but check it out. It's not it's not First Reformed and it's not American Gigolo, but it's a really interesting period piece, really accurate portrayal of that milieu, of that place and time, and the performances, lead and supporting, are great. So I strongly recommend Light of Day from 1987. Do you remember seeing it now?
Yeah.
And not liking it?
No, I think I did like it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love it, but I was,
I liked it.
Yeah, it got dumped on by everybody. So that's. And by the way, I should add that I don't know if this is something my subconscious is working, but all three of my films feature pop stars or rock stars in their first film performance, for better or worse. So here I think it's for better. She's great. She's an amazing presence, and it's worth it just for Joan. John O., what's your first?
Okay, so my first movie is actually a movie I almost feel that I'm embarrassed that I like so much.
No,
we don't judge here. If Winter Comes, 1947, directed by Victor Saville. If you can name another movie he directed, you should be on our podcast.
Wow. Is it is he British or?
Very.
Yeah. Anyway, the cast, it has a great cast. Walter Pidgeon, Deborah Carr, Angela Lansbury, who was only 22 when she did this movie. She plays Walter Pidgeon's husband. Janet Leigh, who's excellent in it.
Always.
Dame Mae Whitty, Rice Williams, Reginald Gardner, and some other familiar faces of the so-called classic studio era of the 1940s. It did not do well at the box office. It takes place in England just before World War II starts in a small rural town. I have to hand it to MGM and the production designers because it really does feel like a small British village.
Yeah.
And the added use of indirect lighting creates kind of a warm and cozy atmosphere about the movie, which sets up for what happens to the various characters. As we scratch, the surface of this idealized village, the community is torn apart by malicious gossip about the main character's compassion and kindness, Walter Pidgeon, towards Effie, Janet Leigh. His idealism and personal integrity is tested, and his kindness is tragically misunderstood. The movie explores moral hypocrisy and the social and personal impact of war. And, I guess, some of it's kind of corny. It's certainly not on anyone's list of great movies, but it's a great movie for a lazy, rainy Sunday afternoon.
Lovely, yeah.
And I remember Lansbury being really cold.
Yeah.
In this one. I mean, there was an actress who just took risk all the time, did not, that was roughly the same time she did State of the Union.
Yeah.
She's the, bitch mistress.
And considering the time the movie is made, it explores some so-called, risque topics.
Yeah. No, I like it. Apart from Tea and Sympathy, I like pretty much anything Deborah Carr does.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. She can do no wrong, but Tea and Sympathy I do not like.
Well.
And Angela Lansbury is just, she's miraculous.
Yeah, she really was.
Yeah, and Janet Leigh was only 20 years old when she did it. The director didn't know until about halfway through the movie that she wasn't British.
Really?
She is one of the most Hollywood's most underrated.
Thank you. Yes, I just saw a Manchurian Candidate again from my virtual film society, and I'm just so. You think, okay, there's no one. You shouldn't believe that character. She has that one conversation on the train, and she breaks off her engagement. She is so good that she makes it absolutely believable.
Yeah, and Walter Pidgeon in it. He's always has a very, very charming demeanor, and you can't help but be on his side in this movie.
Yeah. No, I that's not a movie I'd be ashamed of.
Yeah, no. That's a good one. All right.
Yeah.
Mikey, what's your second?
This one is a movie I'm ashamed of.
This is good therapy.
This is really a very...
This is us loving movies on the couch.
Exactly. Is anyone watching?
This I just rewatched for the first time in several years, and it really is a bad movie. But when I was 11 years old, I loved it. And that was The Chase, directed by Arthur Penn, from a novel and a play by Horton Foote, with Lillian Hellman doing the screenwriting. And apparently everyone sued to get their names off this film.
It was an Alan Smithy.
I know they weren't happy with it. Did they really?
Well, I don't know. Lillian Hellman did not want her name on it. I do know that. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, is this the same woman who wrote The Little Foxes writing?
Well, based on a Horton Foote play, right?
Based on a Horton Foote play, but I hear it's I don't know the play, but I hear it's very different.
Because I remember reading something that the Horton Foote play didn't get great reviews.
No, but it's very different. Apparently, it's much more about the relationship between the Marlon Brando character and the Robert Redford character, which is virtually
non-existent.
The plot is a Texas town bad boy escapes from prison. Wife is having an affair with the son of the richest man in town. Also, I have to say, this is the first time I've ever bought a soundtrack album.
Who did the music?
John Barry. And I love the music.
I think
that's one of the problems with the movie, though. I like the music a lot, but I think it's very overblown.
Yeah. Yes, but yeah. Well, yes. What does save this movie is, for the most part, the acting in it is great.
Yeah.
Brando, superb as the sheriff of this town, who's being given the role from the richest man in town. Was given the job of being a sheriff, just so he can work off his debts and go back to his farm. Jane Fonda as the bad boy's wife. Marvelous.
I mean, what a cast! Good Lord.
Now, Robert Redford, we had this argument before. You say it's just his haircut.
Well, he doesn't. I think he's pretty good in it. He just doesn't look like he just came out of prison.
Also, he just doesn't look like he'd be a bad boy. Everybody in town seems to be afraid of him.
Supposedly, he sort of was in real life, but he doesn't do any. He's not believable as someone growing up in sort of an underprivileged family in Texas. Yeah, he's kind of miscast.
He is miscast, but I still like him in it. And you are right. I did forget about the scene between Fonda and Redford.
Yeah.
And he almost, in that scene, he almost seems like a poet. Instead of...
this is what, 66?
66.
66.
E.G. Marshall as the richest man.
Always good.
Loves his son. Good. James Fox shows up again.
There he is.
This is his first American film, and I think he's very good. I think he has a perfect accent. Angie Dickinson, one of the few times I ever liked her.
Yeah, she's good.
As Brando's wife. I mentioned this before when we were discussing Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall is marvelous in this. But he is particularly good in this. It was one of my 3 favorite Robert Duvall performances.
When he passed, we were talking, yeah.
What shocked me is how good Miriam Hopkins is in this, because I do not like Miriam Hopkins. And this was her second to last film. She plays the mother. She's very, very quiet until the end when she explodes. Diana Hyland plays James Fox's wife. And she's very good in what little she has to do. Martha Heyer, another actress I never was fond of. She plays one of the town's drunks. And then an actress whom I absolutely adore, who didn't do many movies, is Janice Rule.
Oh, yeah.
And she is so good in this.
I think of her mostly as a TV
well,
actress.
she did some TV. She actually kind of quit and became a psychotherapist. But she's in 3 Women. She's the 3rd woman, the silent one. And
right, the Altman, yeah.
Yeah, and she was bigger on stage. She was the beautiful woman in Picnic. And she didn't get to do many movies. Missing. She's in Missing.
She's
the reporter.
Oh,
the writer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, and Richard Bradford is another villain in this. And he's good. Henry Hull, who, if you remember him from Lifeboat.
Yeah,
as the rich man. This is his last movie. He plays kind of
Rittenhouse.
Town, the town crier, narrator, and he's sinister. But it's the writing in it is so bad.
There's one little moment between Henry Hull and Marlon Brando that I love. Though he goes, "I'm a law-abiding citizen," and Brando says, "Well, that makes 2 of us."
No, but that's one of those classic examples of a movie where all of the pieces are there, everything,
and it just
doesn't work.
And it did not do well. New York Times. Everything in this movie is overheated. The screenplay, the emotional content, the pictorial style, the directing, the acting, which I disagree with, the fist fighting, the burning of a junkyard at the end, everything. The only thing that is not overheated, at least I don't think it will be, is the audience reaction. This is a picture to leave you cold.
Wow.
And
the very first time I saw it was the very first time it was on TV. And I really liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I was 11. I guess I understood everything that was going on. And I remember reading at the time bad reviews, and I couldn't understand it, why the reviews were bad. Now I understand it. The writing is just terrible. And, of course, this was the year before Penn, who also was not happy with the movie.
No, I know he wasn't.
Did Bonnie and Clyde.
The year before Bonnie and Clyde, he had done, this is only his 4th movie.
Yeah.
He had done The Left-Handed Gun, The Miracle Worker, and Mickey 1.
Which I kind of love. That's another film that
I just wondered, did Sam Spiegel was the director?
Yes,
and
producer.
Did he re-edit it?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the villain. Everybody, Hellman pointed at him, Penn pointed at him.
Yeah.
It was, it's too bad because there were so many good elements, and I said it was so richly acted.
Yeah, so definitely worth it.
So, yes and no. This is a thoroughly bad movie.
No, it's worth seeing.
It's
kind of fun.
There's so many good
and there's so many. It's such a great cast.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
So from 1966, a film that Michael has talked about before and is, I think, worthy of your attention, and that is The Chase. My second comes from one of our most interesting directors in a period where he could do absolutely no wrong except this film. I'm talking about late 90s, early 00s Ang Lee. Think about what he did. Sense and Sensibility and Crouching Tiger and The Ice Storm and Eat, Drink, Man, Woman and The Wedding Banquet.
And don't forget his 2 Oscars.
Right.
For Brokeback Mountain and Life of Pi.
Yeah, just one, and then right in the middle of all of this is a film that cost $38 million to make and made $600,000 at the box office.
Wasn't that bad? Really?
Yeah, it was that bad. No one liked it. No one saw it. It is a dark, dark film about one of the darkest periods in American history that never gets explored. It gets mentioned once in your American history class 2 days before you do Fort Sumter. With the lead up to the Civil War, and you do John Brown the day before, but 2 days before you do Bleeding Kansas. And, Bleeding Kansas we know that it was essentially an 8-year guerrilla war between the Jayhawkers from Kansas, who were anti-slavery, and the Bushwhackers, who supported slavery, mostly from Missouri. And this was not a war. This was not organized. This was brutal blood. So I'm going to use a word that is maybe a little controversial, but it was terrorism. It really was. We see the film culminates in the Bushwhackers attack Lawrence, Kansas in 1863. And Lawrence, it's so beautifully filmed. I mean, Ang Lee is just... the tension between the beauty of nature and the violence, just the absolute brutality. No one even cares about slavery. Jeffrey Wright, who plays a freed slave, is on the side of the Bushwhackers. I mean, which he's on the side of the Southern supporters.
Well, because of the loyalty he feels towards the guy
towards Simon Baker's character. Yeah. I mean, so it centers on Tobey Maguire, young. And
that was my problem with the film, was him.
It worked for me, and the shocking thing is that his best friend is played by Skeet Ulrich, and who is no one's idea of a great actor. But I thought he was really perfect in this, and it really is his story. It's Tobey Maguire's character's story, as he sort of grows into manhood in the middle of this absolute, senseless, brutal carnage that, is an ignored piece. I was reading somewhere that the Lawrence Massacre, which again is not considered an act of war, it was considered an act of terrorism because no generalship sanctioned that before Tim McVeigh and company blew up the Murrah building in Oklahoma City in 95, it was the most had the highest casualties of any act of American against American terrorism in our history. Wow. So I could understand why it failed. It was a dark movie.
And then they come out at Christmas?
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
It's really hard to get on their side. The main characters.
Well,
and that's what most of the movie is about. That's the big problem with the movie. And I can't help but suspect that the author of the original novel is a lost causer.
Possibly, but I don't know. The Southern... but we didn't... The thing I love about the movie is that politics is almost never discussed. Is that it's so not about slavery.
The Jayhawkers at that time were not really aligned with the Union Army. They were kind of independent, and they were... they were raping and pillaging themselves kind of thing.
But all the violence that we see is not about because I feel strongly that we have to stop slavery. Yeah. It just got very personal, and my family against your family, and it was like Winter's Bone and sort of this endless cycle of revenge. The Jayhawkers kill bushwhacking families, so the bushwhackers come back across the border and they attack, and it escalates and back and forth, and it's just... But some of the shots, I mean, that the massacre in Lawrence is just... When they're lining up on the hill and they look down on
a lot of it's really beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. I do really like the last 10 minutes or so. I think that part of the movie is really beautiful.
And no big spoiler alert, but in the last 10 minutes, the freed slave, Jeffrey Wright's character, Holt, is headed to Texas to try to find his family that has been separated by slavery. And it is... The female lead, Sue Lee, is played by, here comes my pop star. If you're our age or younger, a little bit younger, you might remember Jewel, the folk singer from Alaska.
Oh, God, yes.
Who Will Save Your Soul was her big song. She had a lot of big, folky hits in the late 90s. And she's kind of, she's not a major character here. She's kind of objectified, but she's lovely. She kind of, it's a lit from within performance, and she and Tobey Maguire's character survive. They end up getting married almost inadvertently. And at the end, they're headed out west. We don't see it happen, but they're going to go out west and start anew in California. And I thought that was lovely. By the way, one of the reasons it's so beautiful to look at, not just Ang Lee, is Frederick Elms, Lynch's DP, is the cinematographer.
That's right.
Here.
Yeah.
So,
is Lee working at all now?
I don't know. I haven't seen much from him in a while.
Yeah.
What I love about John, it's exactly what you said, is that you find yourself rooting for Tobey Maguire, and you're like, wait a minute, he's on the side of the guys who kind of favor slavery, but that seems like a background thing, and it's a very apolitical film. It's just how this human nature,
the
this
hardest character to
violence.
Understand is the black slave who's
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's really, it's like halfway through the movie, it's like, what the hell are you doing with these guys? I don't care. I know you're grateful to your slave owner who bought out. You're free now, but get the hell out of there.
And good actors. I love Simon Baker. Tom Wilkinson's in it. Playing the. He's really good.
He was never bad.
Yeah, I've never
seen him give a bad performance.
So
Maguire, though,
although you loved Wonder Boys, which was
I
the year
did.
after this.
I liked Wonder Boys. I liked him in the other Lee
Ice
movie, The Ice Storm, very much.
Yep.
I just thought he was miscast in this.
And he's my only Spider-Man, so you can keep Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. But so
There's another one coming out.
I know. They're just endless. The one failure in this incredible run of Ang Lee's films from 1999, that's Ride with the Devil, the story of Bleeding Kansas, which has never been told before or since, as I've seen on in a major movie, and a really interesting. Try to see it on as big a screen as you can, because it's
You might have to pay someone to say it.
No, but it's that counterpoint between the natural beauty and the absolutely endless, brutal violence of the film that is true to what actually happened in that time and place. So that's my second one. I'm going in chronological order, by the way. John O., your second?
My second movie is An Unfinished Life, 2005, directed by Lasse Hallström, based on a novel by Mark Sprague, with Robert Redford, Jennifer Lopez, Morgan Freeman, Josh Lucas, Damian Lewis, and Becca Gardner as Redford's granddaughter, who's really good in it.
Becca Gardner. Did she appear in anything else?
I know that she appeared in a few movies afterwards. I can't name anything that she did. The movie received mixed reviews when it came out. The review in the New York Times by Stephen Holdy was absolutely nasty.
Ooh.
I mean, it's worth looking up. He was just plain nasty. It was sort of like, this is unnecessary. Some people criticized the movie for trying to copy Million Dollar Baby using Morgan Freeman as the lead's friend, but An Unfinished Life was finished 2 years before Million Dollar Baby.
That's right,
And
yeah.
Miramax had delayed the release of the movie because at the time it was finished, they were going through a lot of turmoil, takeovers and all that kind of stuff. Redford is a rather grouchy Wyoming rancher, still grieving over the death of his son in a car accident. His daughter-in-law, Jennifer Lopez, who is trying to escape an abusive relationship, and granddaughter show up unexpectedly at his ranch and ask to stay with him and his best friend, Mitch, Morgan Freeman, who is recovering from being attacked by a very large bear.
Hey! I don't like those anti-bear films.
Mitch's wounds still cause him constant pain, and Einar, played by Redford, gives him daily morphine injections and food. I mean, there's grief and the themes of grief and loss. Redford blames Lopez for his son's death. It's kind of predictable. Forgiveness and reconciliation. Eventually, Redford, accepts that his son's death was an accident, no one's fault, and he bonds with his granddaughter. Family and resiliency. Mitch is like family, not just a friend. Einar asks Gene to come back and live with him. Relations are reconnected and family is redefined. Some of the symbolism is a bit clumsy, but despite all the grief and loss, there is humor in the movie, and I happen to really like it a lot. The one part of the movie I really don't like is the movie. It's just constant. It's just, some of it's just unnecessary.
The
music, you mean?
Yeah, in the movie. Yeah, the soundtrack. The
soundtrack.
Yeah, the movie score. And it didn't make.
I
Yeah.
actually don't recall the movie at all.
No.
Yeah, it kind of came and went.
All right, but that's why we're here. We're trying to open up. That's what we do here at Vintage Sand. We open up doors to things you might not otherwise see. So, and Hallström's always a solid director. Not spectacular, but...
No, it's well made, but, it's not a great movie, but it was just kind of... I think when it came out, most of the reviews were kind of tepid.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's one of those films that also got caught up in the studio, the machinery of the business end of it and not getting released.
Miramax shelved a bunch of movies at the time, and then it was, it wasn't released until 2 years after it was originally supposed to be released. So...
All right, so we're retrieving it from the dustbin of history. That is our purpose here today. Michael, your third and final.
Okay, my third and final was a very successful film, financially, and critically it was mixed to positive. But it's The VIPs from 1963.
Burton and Taylor, sure.
Burton and Taylor. This was their first movie since Cleopatra. Actually, it was supposed to be Sophia Loren and Richard Burton, but when Taylor offered her services and wanted to keep her eye on Burton, and
with good reason,
I don't know if you can appreciate, John can, of course, how big they were, Burton and Taylor.
Yeah.
If at this point, if they were to read the phone book, it would have been a massive.
Yeah, they were the it couple.
They were
even after Cleopatra.
Yes.
Yeah, still.
Yes, because even
they were in the news all the time.
Yeah, they were. I can't even compare them to anybody else. Maybe Marilyn Monroe.
Brangelina's not going to do justice.
No, they were so big. She was always, in the news. Anyway, this movie, I know it was bad because at 8 years old I understood everything in this movie.
But it's fun.
And I was proud of myself. It's all of these very, very important people who are stuck at Heathrow Airport because of a fog. The Taylor, Burton, Louis Jourdan trilogy.
Yay, Louis Jourdan.
And he's very, very good in
Love
this.
him.
Was actually part of a true story. Terence Rattigan had heard from his friend Vivian Leigh about how she wanted to leave Olivier for Peter Finch. And she was stuck at the airport from a fog. And Olivier came in and basically talked her out of it.
Interesting.
And that's what this is. But there are 3 other stories. Well, 2.5 other stories. Rod Taylor plays this tractor president whose company is being taken over by a big company, Amalgamation. He has to get to New York because he's written a bad check to keep his company. And of course, he's stuck because of the fog. And his loyal secretary, played by, I think, one of her first major movies, Maggie Smith.
Oh, Dame Maggie.
Who is great in it. And she and Burton have this ridiculous scene where she literally gets him to cover the check, even though he's a total stranger. And he later said, "This actress doesn't just steal movies; it's grand larceny."
No, and it's a great elevator pitch. I could imagine you're stuck in one of and the stories around it.
It just takes place at the airport, in the VIP lounge, and at the airport hotel. Nothing else.
That's it.
I don't know how expensive this movie was. It was because they had to pay.
Yeah, I'm sure they had to pay
salaries.
Some pretty high salaries.
And then there's Orson Welles as Max Buda, the film director, he modeled after Federico Fellini, whom he apparently hated.
Yeah. Hated.
And he's this director who's just finished his movie and he has to get out of the country because of taxes. And he lives in Switzerland and he's fogged in it. And he's got this mistress whom he has no regard for, played by Elsa Martinelli, who's very, very funny in it. And he's more in love with his accountant than he is with Martinelli. And he calls him Dr. Shoesparker, and every time he sees him, he kisses him like, hey, do you have any way of getting me out? And he does have a way of getting him out of the problem. He has to marry her for a year. And so he gives her the role of Mary, Queen of Scots, which he did not want to do. It's very, very funny. And then
Wells plays it well.
He plays it funny. He's funny in it, but he's very good in it. And then throughout the movie, in what was one of the shortest film roles to ever win an Oscar, is Dame Margaret Rutherford as the impoverished Duchess of Brighton, who has never flown before. She has to, in order to keep her home, she has to fly to Miami to become a social manageress in a royal English hotel in Miami. She doesn't want to go. She could care less, but she has to fly, and she's never flown, and she's taking all these pills to get her up and down, and she's on the plane, and they say, fasten your seatbelts, but I haven't brought a seatbelt. And it's a small part, but she appears throughout, and of course she's a delight, and I can see why. I can see why she won the Oscar. It was kind of a. She was in her 70s. This was kind of a her turn. She was kind of at the end of her career. She's delightful, and there's so many people who don't know who Margaret Rutherford is out there, and you should.
What's another Margaret Rutherford film?
The Importance of Being Earnest,
which
we talked about.
Yes, we did.
And of course, Blithe Spirit. Noel Coward wrote that part for her.
Yep.
And her picture is still at the bar of Joe Allen's, and I never figured out why. It's always there. It's been there since I was a little kid. Oh, that's Margaret Rutherford. Who's the Margaret Rutherford?
Who dat?
And one of the nice things that happened because of this film, besides her winning the Academy Award, is that she got to meet Wells, because Rutherford had a problem with depression, and one of the things that she always wanted to be taken seriously as she always wanted to be a Shakespearean actress, and nobody ever took her seriously because she had this big
and he cast her in Chimes
as Mistress Quickly the following year. It was really.
I never made that connection.
Yeah, and that he had met her they got along famously.
Huh.
And
I can see that.
Yeah, and so she did, and she was wonderful as Mistress Quickly.
Yeah,
love that film, her, everything about it.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, it was a success, but that was also because of Taylor and Burton. New York Times wrote says it was a lively, engrossing, romantic film, cut to the always serviceable pattern of the old maid multi-character Grand Hotel, and some of the other people in it are even more exciting than its two top stars. And Bosley Crowther went to praise Louis Jourdan as Taylor's would-be lover, and Maggie Smith as the love-smitten secretary. And not only did Margaret Rutherford win the Oscar, but she also won the Best Supporting Actress from the National Board of Review and the Golden Globe Award. And her part is 13 minutes long.
Wow.
The 5th shortest win in Oscar history. And I guess...
It's no Little Brown Babies for Ingrid Bergman.
And as I said, it was shorter than that. But it was directed by Anthony Asquith, who had a long career in British film, mostly directing adaptations of plays such as Pygmalion, The Importance of Being Earnest, The Millionaires, the Browning version, and The Winslow Boy. He would team up with Radican the following year to direct another all-star film, The Yellow Rolls Royce, which wasn't as good. It was not successful. She's actually quite bad in it.
Yes, it's terrible. I love it.
Yeah.
I love her butt.
Yeah, and this would be Asquith's final film. He died in 1968. But 2 years later, they did another film, Taylor and Burton, before Virginia Woolf, The Sandpiper, which I've never been able to get through.
Yeah,
Have you?
it's a tough one. I don't think I've ever watched the entire movie.
Vincent Minnelli directed it, and Dalton Trumbo wrote the screenplay. It's really bad. Big hit. Because of them.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. And after Virginia Woolf, then, and I guess Taming of the Shrew, I think, was successful, but they started picking really bad vehicles for themselves.
Well, also, I think a lot of people didn't really want to work with them at a certain point.
Yeah, they got tired of them.
Yeah.
And I have to say, as much as I like Taylor, in the VIPs, she kind of sleepwalks through it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, though.
But it is a fun movie.
No, and again, I think the pattern that's emerging here is that watch out for the received wisdom. You know, we know for sure that all, except for Virginia Woolf, you know, that all of Burton and Taylor's films were kind of, you know, not necessarily worthwhile, or just their only value was that the two of them were in it.
I like the comedians.
Yeah, but some of the movies are just odd choices.
Yeah, boom. Considered one of the worst movies ever made.
That's the Lozy, right?
Makes me think that people at a certain point just didn't want to work with him.
Could be.
Which is a lovely lead into my last film, which is about actors not wanting to work with other actors. Yes. So I was going to do Beloved as my third film, but I've already talked enough about it. It's my favorite novel in the world. I went in ready to hate Jonathan Demme's version of it in '98. I mean, who the hell is Oprah Winfrey to do this? And I think it's just glorious, but I've talked enough about it. So my third pop star in the mix is Harry Styles. And, you know, to paraphrase you, Michael, as an actor, Harry Styles is a great singer. So, and of course, I'm talking about Olivia Wilde's second film, Don't Worry, Darling, from just 4 years ago. And I defend this film to the death, to the derision of present company and just about everybody else. But I think it does have a few things going against it. Yes, Harry Styles is very, very stiff, but that role was originally was played by, they had started filming with Shia LaBeouf. So, I mean, anybody, including Harry Styles, is a step up from Shia LaBeouf, so that's okay, but that was
He's just such a rotten person, besides being a bad actor. Not Harry Styles, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and but otherwise, awesome. There is also, of course, it's set in this, filmed around Palm Springs in this, it's beautifully set community. This company led by Chris Pine is, you know, hiring these people, and Harry Styles and Florence Pugh are married, and they become a part of this community, and it's all about victory products and all of that stuff. And the twist is a very Black Mirror twist. The twist turns... Again, I didn't see the twist coming. Everyone else like, are you kidding? You didn't see that coming? And I was like, yeah, no, I didn't. I guess I was watching Florence too closely. But it turns out that it is... What's happening in the film, the sexism in the film, you know, that 50s suburban trad wife, as they'd call it now, thing, is being very darkly mirrored in something that's happening in today's time, and it's about her escape from that. Yeah, okay, it was a bit heavy-handed. I'll give you that. It definitely was, and there are some plot holes that Florence Pugh could have driven her little Corvette that she drives through the desert through. But here's the interesting thing about watching the film again, is that it's only 4 years later. And in the film, we find out that in her modern iteration, Florence Pugh is a doctor, very overworked, but a successful, productive doctor, and she complains how hard the work is, but, and Harry Styles, I won't give too much away, does what he does to supposedly save her from this life that she hates and give her everything he thinks she wants or thinks that she should want. And I think to just in the 4 years in between when the film was released and now, what has happened to women, to women's rights, to the idea of, an active component of the internet fighting against women in the workplace and trying to push women back into the into servitude, and like saying, what was it last week where the I forget what the context was, but someone accused this Democratic spokeswoman of being a failure because she was 30 and she was unmarried and didn't have a baby yet. I mean, did you ever dear listeners, think that you were going to hear that kind of rhetoric again. I mean, I thought we were kind of past that.
Although it was probably said by an unmarried man.
It was said by
A
someone.
lot of these guys who are talking about traditional stuff are unmarried.
And that's the other thing, Mike, and that's because Chris Pine's character, who runs this company, is sort of a big ego character. He could be one of those manosphere influencers, you know, getting people to bulk up on creatine or something like that. I mean, at the party where Harry Styles' character gets a promotion, it's, you know, he leads the men in a chant, you know, whose world is it? Ours, you know, and it's, wow. I mean, it seems to me that in just 4 short years, given what's happened, it's become a lot more relevant. I don't mean to, people are going to laugh at, but it reminds me of The Yellow Wallpaper, which is my favorite American short story. It's Charlotte Perkins Gilman's story about she's a woman who, this is the 1890s, and she wants to be a writer, and her husband, who's a physician, and has only good intentions for her, thinks she must be insane. She must be hysterical, because what woman would not want to take care of the house and take care of the baby? So he locks her in a room upstairs, takes away the paper and pen so she can't write, and, you know, until she's healed. And I was like, wow, okay, this is another story of a talented woman, in this case Florence Pugh's character, as I said, is a doctor, who is, quote unquote, for her own good and her own happiness, kept in a horrible kind of prison by her husband. So I think there's more to it than, and then of course all of that goes out the window. And the third thing that worked against the film was all the controversy.
And now who hated who?
Well, what happened?
Remember.
Olivia Wilde had done Booksmart, which we love.
Which I love.
Right?
Yeah.
And she did this film, and she was married to Jason Sudeikis at the time, you know, right. Ted Lasso himself. And she and Harry Styles had a torrid affair on the set. And Florence Pugh, who, you know, you guys know how much I love her, but she has never been called unprofessional. She absolutely refused to do any publicity for the film, because of how unprofessional she thought Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde were on the set. And also there was supposedly some hatred between Harry Styles and Chris Pine, and both have said that that's not really true. All right, I mean, and I can't, and so the film kind of died, it was kind of stillborn. I think visually it's really striking. It was shot by Matthew Libatique, you know, who shot all of Darren Aronofsky's, you know, Pi and Requiem and all those, The Fountain, all those visually interesting films. I think if you can set aside the plot holes, and maybe you can't, that it's a beautiful mood piece, this perfect suburb of, you know, 60s, and there are a couple of images that are so Charlotte Perkins Gilman-like. The one where she's standing against the back window and the wall presses in against her. And the one where she has the saran wrap and she's making, and then she wraps it around her head. I mean, till she can't breathe. It's a little on the nose, but you really get the sense of paranoia. And as I said, in the last 4 years, given what has happened to women's standing in American society in the last 4 years, what seemed kind of, you know, overdone and crazy in 2022 now seems like, I could see this.
Well, that would make the Stepford Wives a good movie, too.
Well, exactly. I think it's in that vein, too.
But I don't think the Stepford Wives is
not
very good either.
It is not. But I love one last thing. I love music, because they use it's supposed to be set in the late 50s, early 60s. So they use the song in a very David Lynch-like way, who also loved that period of music. They use pop songs from that period beautifully. It's just so beautifully shot and edited, and and it's Florence. So I'm gonna that does it for me. But I would bet that in 25 years people will still be watching this film. There, I said it. Okay, go ahead. Slings and arrows.
I would make that bet, but let's see, hold on, that'll be 97. I don't think I'll make the bet.
I'd have to watch it again before making that bet. I think though that as far as women's rights, I think it was starting long before the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It has become more prevalent. I think that's part of the whole MAGA movement of wanting to bring everything, pushing back everything to like the 1948.
Absolutely.
That's what Trump is all about.
And, but did you hear the expression tradwives more than 4 years ago? Or the manosphere? These abusive guys?
I just remember my big problem with the movie because I was so disappointed because I loved Booksmart so much. Was really Harry Styles whenever he opened his mouth.
He's beautiful to look at.
Is he?
I mean,
I don't find him. I don't see what the big deal is. With him. I guess he's a good singer. I don't listen to his.
Not a fan, but better than Shia LaBeouf. That's the best I can say.
Yes.
So and it's a little too early to call Olivia Wilde's character. Her status as a director because she's only done the 2 films, but
wasn't she working on something now?
I think she is.
Yeah.
So from 2022, Olivia Wilde's second film, my favorite Florence Pugh role, and her slow breakdown. I think she does it beautifully, and it's great to look at. Huge plot holes. Love it anyway. That's Don't Worry, Darling. Jono, take us home.
Okay, my last movie is, speaking of women's rights, Peyton Place.
Oh, there you go. Hey.
1957, starring Alana Turner, Hope Lang, Lee Phillips, Lloyd Nolan, Diane Varsi, Arthur Kennedy, Russ Tamlin, and Terry Moore. Directed by Mark Robson, who was
solid director.
A solid, director of the period. It takes place in a seemingly idyllic small New England town in the years just before and during World War II, based on Grace Metalius's best-selling 1956 novel, which was a huge hit.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah.
And apparently, that's the novel was a lot more sex and much more explicit language. They had to tone it down, obviously, at the time the movie was made. It was very well received when it came out. It was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, a box office hit.
And do you know it's only one of 8 films to have 5 acting nominations?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Lana Turner for actress, Arthur Kennedy and Russ Tamlin for supporting actor,
and Diane Varsi
and Hope Lang for supporting actress. It didn't win any of them.
Yeah.
And it did boffo at the box office.
Yeah, it was a huge hit.
At the box office, but I don't think anybody would think of this movie now as a great movie. It's almost the epitome of a soap opera.
Yeah.
Of a 50s, late 50s style.
So in the New England town of Peyton Place, Paul Cross, fed up with his alcoholic stepfather, Lucas Cross, played by Arthur Kennedy, for stealing, because he's stealing money from his stepchildren. Lucas is the school custodian, and his downtrodden wife, Nellie, works as a housekeeper for Constance Connie Mackenzie, played by Lana Turner.
And isn't Betty Field the maid? Betty Field.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yes. And Lana Turner is a widow who owns a clothing shop. I don't usually like Lana Turner.
Yeah.
I usually find she's sort of bland, but she's pretty good in this. The daughters of both families, Allison Mackenzie and Selena Cross, are best friends and about to graduate from high school. The Mackenzies live in a comfortable life. The Cross family lives in poverty. It's not too subtle.
It's literally on the wrong side of the tracks.
Yes.
Right, there is like a track.
Yes.
I love that.
Peyton Place High School. Well, I have to say, the movie is beautiful looking.
Yeah.
Photography is really beautiful. Peyton Place High School, a town newcomer, has been hired as a new principal, played by Lee Phillips, who I do not like as an actor. I find him very strident.
But Mildred Dunnick shows up.
She is the teacher that they thought was going to be the new principal, and they all love her, and they're all disappointed when they find out she's not going to be the new principal. But he's very progressive, and he's the one who becomes a catalyst that begins to challenge the town's facade of a perfect community. I want to point out that Hope Lang and Diane Varsi are really good in it.
Yeah.
Hope Lang I always liked.
Yeah.
I mean, she worked all the time afterwards.
Diane Varsi didn't have much of a
Well, Diane Varsi, after Peyton
career.
Place, made 3 more movies.
That's it?
While filming 10 North Frederick, she had a nervous breakdown and was hospitalized. And she once said, "I'm still trying to find myself. It's still hard for me to separate illusion from reality. I don't know whether acting is the form of creativity that is best for me. She never liked Hollywood. She once said she'd rather meet Aldous Huxley than Clark Gable. She quit acting to attend Bennington College to study poetry.
Interesting.
But she did go back.
She returned back in the late 60s, in 1967, and she appeared in Johnny Got His Gun in 1971. She said, "This is the kind of thing I always wanted to do. It comes very late to me. It's been a long time to wait." Kind of sad.
And I remember she had a small role in I Never Promised You a Rose Garden.
I believe you're right, yes.
Yeah. I liked her in Compulsion.
Yes.
But I like that movie a lot.
Great.
Yeah. But, through all the story, the soap opera story, it combines social commentary with the coming-of-age conflict between the parents and children and how a postcard-perfect-looking community is anything but once you scratch the surface. And I think I cannot help that David Lynch saw this movie.
Oh, God, yes.
No doubt.
Yes.
And I think what draws me to this movie are the themes about how damaging secrets can be, the sexual and social hypocrisy, the dangers of malicious gossip. And as I said before, it's really beautiful looking.
Yeah. What is it, an MG? Who?
20th Century Fox.
Yes, you're right.
And what do you think of the sequel?
I never saw the sequel.
Oh, I have seen...
Return to Peyton Place or something?
I have seen it only because it has a big part, and it's one of her final films for Mary Astor.
Oh, yay, Mary Astor.
She plays
I'll have to check it out sometime.
She's the villainess. It's Carol Lindley playing the Allison role, and she's written a scandalous book about...
Yeah, well, which is what the Diane Varsi character actually does.
Yeah.
and the principal tells her, he said, "You can't do this book. Everybody, it's so transparent who everybody is."
And Eleanor Parker's Lana Turner's mother. I mean, nobody from the original is in it.
It's interesting that critics have come back to the Douglas Sirk films, the soap opera-y films, Leave It to Heaven and those things, and that this has not sort of been included in that. I mean, I'm not saying Robson is a director on Sirk's level, but it sounds like as I recall, it deals with the same issues.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was
right below the surface.
Yeah,
it was very successful. I guess my problem with Peyton Place is, yes, it has 5 Oscar nominations. But most of the people who are nominated, I don't care for. No. I don't like Arthur Kennedy, frankly. I never cared for him.
Yeah, I sometimes I sort of like him, and sometimes I don't. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, I always found him... Even in Lawrence of Arabia, I find him kind of...
Well, in this, you see him acting.
Yeah. And then Russ Tamlin, who's still with us. Yeah. But I do agree with you on Hope Lang and Diane Varsi.
Yeah, they're both very good in it.
Very good.
All right, so there you have it, Peyton Place from 1956. And, we, since the beginning of this, which we've now been doing this officially for, 8 years?
Oh, God.
Yep, we started in 18. That is correct.
That is
correct.
We
have never postured ourselves as experts. We're not filmmakers. We're not, frustrated screenwriters. We're just people who love and want to open doors. And that's why we hope that you've enjoyed this episode, that, maybe there have been a couple of films that you've maybe heard about, but heard they were terrible, and maybe they're not so bad. So hopefully we opened a few doors for you. So let's open another door now to Michael's necrology for this episode. Take it away, Mikey.
Okay. Claire Moria, 97. French film, TV, and stage actress. She already had a dozen film and stage credits going back to 1947 when she was cast as Antoine Daniel's narcissistic mother in Francois Truffaut's debut film, The 400 Blows, in 1959. She made dozens of films, some popular in the U.S., such as Edward Molinari's La Cage aux Folles in 1979, playing the wife of a gay man for one night, and in Jean-Pierre Jeuneau's Amélie in 2001, where she played the owner of the bistro where the title character works. In the 1966 comedy Une Heure de Famille, a U.S. critic described her as Betty Davis brittle, and Perfect, that is perfectly horrible. Luis Puenzo, 80, Argentine film director whose third film, The Official Story, won the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film in 1985.
Devastating.
The film dealt indirectly with Argentina's totalitarian government from 1976 to 1983, but the story was centered around a history teacher who gradually learns that the daughter she adopted with her wealthy, junta-connected husband was stolen from a woman who had disappeared. Puenzo's screenplay was also nominated for an Oscar as well, and Norma Allarendo, who played the woman, won the New York Film Critics Award and Cannes Film Festival for Best Actress. Puenzo's next film was Old Gringo, with Jane Fonda and Gregory Peck.
Gregory Peck, yeah, I read.
This wasn't a success, as the studio demanded cuts and the film's release was delayed. His other major film was a film version of Camus' The Plague, with William Hurt, Robert Duvall, and Raul Julia. He served as president of the National Institute of Film and Audiovisual Arts, which promotes and funds films in Argentina. When he won his Oscar in 1986, Puenzo was solemn. I cannot forget that on another March 24, 10 years ago, like this day, we suffered the last military coup in my country. We will never forget this nightmare, but we are starting now to begin with our newest dreams.
See, and what's old is new again. They've got that lunatic Millette there now, who's
I know.
a big Trumpy.
I know. It's like...
Yeah, exactly.
Dean, and I might be pronouncing this. You guys might know how to pronounce this. Dean Tavoularis.
Tavoularis, yeah.
93. Art director and production designer.
Yeah.
Widely admired, according to the Production Designers Collective, a trade association, said that Tavoularis was part of a generation of artisans who were trained under the old 1950s Hollywood studios, but came into their own while collaborating with the new filmmakers of the 1960s and 1970s. He represented a bridge between traditional craftsmanship and the new rebellious spirit of the younger auteur generation. For his work in The Godfather Part 2, which he transformed the East Village of Manhattan, East 6th Street between Avenues A and B, into the Little Italy of the 1910s, he received his only Academy Award. He was nominated for 3 other Oscars for Coppola films: The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, and Tucker, the Man and His Dreams. Yay. He did have a 5th nomination for William Friedkin's The Brinks Job. Other credits included Zabriskie Point, Little Big Man, Farewell My Lovely, The Conversation, Bonnie and Clyde, One from the Heart, Rumblefish, Peggy Sue Got Married, The Godfather Part 3, Bulworth, and The Parent Trap. He was also a painter, and he semi-retired from films in 2000, but returned to work on Roman Polanski's Carnage in 2011. And apparently, which I didn't know in reading one of these obituaries, they wanted to film The Godfather in Kansas City.
I know that Paramount, they didn't want to pay the money to film in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah, Coppola insisted on,
Yeah.
no, you have to do it in
The
New
first
York
one
City.
didn't make enough money for them?
No, it was the first one that they're talking
First one,
about.
yeah. Because it was considered a low-budget movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Coppola insists, is like, no way, we're doing it in New York. And I have to say, we have to owe a lot of the artistic success of The Godfather to Dean Tavoularis.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Marsha Lucas, 80.
Speaking
Film editor. She collaborated with her second husband, George, on Star Wars, which won her an Academy Award for its editing, along with co-editors Paul Hirsch and Richard Shue. Supposedly, she was the one who suggested to Lucas that, contrary to early drafts, Obi-Wan Kenobi should die in his lightsaber fight with Darth Vader. She also edited American Graffiti, which won her a first Oscar nomination. She also edited films for Martin Scorsese, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Taxi Driver, and New York, New York. However, after the Return of the Jedi, she divorced Lucas and left the industry. Mark Hamill claimed that Marcia Lucas was the warmth and heart of the Star Wars trilogy.
Well, compared to her George, that's a low bar.
Yeah, well, she always wanted to just do other stuff, and he just said, no, we got to keep...
Right, no, I remember one of the Scorsese films she wanted to... I think it was New York, that she wanted to go work on. He's like, but I need you to do this stuff. And she's like... Martin Scorsese just asked me to edit a film of his. I'm going. Bye.
And apparently now she's hardly even recognized in the Lucas library or whatever it's called.
Of course. Yep. It's all him.
Okay. Least but not last, Rex Reed, 87.
Please mention Myra Breckinridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Film interviewer and critic. He came to New York from his native Texas, and anyone making a film in the South he would try to interview for his high school and college newspapers. He was hoping to act in his 20s, but was hired from the publicity department of 20th Century Fox. He was then fired, one of the first casualties of Cleopatra's cost overruns, but then started writing celebrity interviews for the New York Times and New York Magazine. His 1968 collection of interviews was published under the title, Do You Sleep in the Nude?, which I did read. He then wrote film reviews for the New York Observer for 30 years and briefly had a syndicated TV show at the movies where he would review films with a variety of other film critics, including Jeffrey Lyons.
Right.
He acted in one movie, Myra Breckinridge, which everyone would disown. He was quoted as saying, Mae West spoke to no one but God. Raquel Welch spoke only to the studio head. The studio head spoke only to God, who relayed messages back to Mae West. But I have a distinct remembrance of Rex Reed on his TV show because the night John and I saw Blue Velvet, he not only laid into the film, he laid into the film that anybody who saw this film should be arrested. Or I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that anybody who could admire this film, there was something sick and wrong about them. I remember calling John.
Yeah.
I was so mad. And 25 years later, I see him at the Mitzi Newhouse Theater, and I wanted to go up and say something.
How do you feel about Blue Velvet now?
And I tried to find a clip of that review, and I couldn't find it, but I did find his 10 worst of the year, and he also hated Sid and Nancy. So
he always reminded me of like a skinnier, more attractive version of Jiminy Glick, Martin Short's character. It's just like, I mean, because he's not a very good critic, reviewer. And
I remember though being very funny about him and Judith Crist had a very big war.
Oh, that's
words.
Not fair, almost.
Yeah, and she wrote in her review of Myra Breckinridge, I'm sorry, but after this film, I cannot take Rex Reed seriously as a film critic. And then he wrote, well, Judith Crist has done commercials for feminine hygiene products. Or did, I think it was magazine ads or something for that. And she replied, well, he's just jealous.
I mean, a character. I
think she won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Point Judith. So
okay, and then the final is Ted Turner, 87.
A moment of seriously, like I almost feel like we should do a moment of silence because as much of an ass as he was, what would we have done without CCM?
Exactly.
Oh my God!
Media mogul who created the first 24-hour news network, CNN. He also created TBS out of Atlanta and TNT as well as CNN Headline News and CNN International. In 1985, he bought for $1.5 billion the MGM United Artists Studio Library of Films and took over the MGM lot. As part of the deal, he also took possession of the pre-1948 Warner Brothers catalog, which included Casablanca and Looney Tunes. This turned out to be a bad investment, and 1 year later, he agreed to sell everything except the film library, so in effect, he was purchasing $1.2 billion for just 3,500 films.
Wow.
He tried to colorize many of the black and white movies in what turned out to be a misguided attempt to appeal to younger audiences. Younger people didn't want to see old movies, black or white or color. In 1994, he created Turner Classic Movies, which was a 24-hour service without commercials that would show his movies uncut and not colorized. He also made a purchase of Hanna-Barbera cartoons and created the Cartoon Network in 1992. So what do we want to say?
I mean, I don't know where I would be as a film lover without Turner Classic.
Yeah, me too.
I honestly can't imagine that not in my universe. John?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah.
So listen, and I'm a Mets fan, and he owned the Braves, so I hate him just for that. But sorry. But I mean, there's never been anything like Turner Classic Movies. There's nothing like. I have arguments around the edges here and there.
Oh,
but
me
my
too.
God, what an incredible resource, and I will be eternally grateful to him for giving us that.
And he was married 11 years to Jane Fonda, which was, I thought, one of the strangest marriages. She stopped acting.
She speaks highly of him.
She speaks very highly of him. After her divorce, she went right back into working in films, which I always thought was odd. I wonder.
Who knows?
And she never really even explains it in her memoir why she stopped making movies.
I think that's called private.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Imagine there used to be a thing called privacy. I remember that when I was a kid. So there you have it, my friends. Our necrology for the month. Thank you, Michael. And every time you turn on Turner Classic, and just never take for granted that you can watch Casablanca. And I watched The Maltese Falcon the other night, and Double Indemnity was on.
Without commercials.
Without commercials and uncut and great prints of the films. Like, Ben Mankiewicz is not my hero, but he's fine. And just an incredible resource that, by all rights, given how American film business is run, should not exist. And yet there it is, and it does. So I'm very thankful for that. And with that, we move on to America's favorite segment of Vintage Sam. That's right. It's John Meyer's monthly, or in this case bi-monthly, quote quiz.
Yeah.
Johnny-O!
Okay, so the last quote was, "I can remember everything. That's my curse, young man. It's the greatest curse that's ever been inflicted on the human race. Memory." That was Joseph Cotten in Citizen Cain, 1941, directed by Orson Welles.
It sure was.
Younger people out there, if you're interested in movies and have not seen Citizen Cain, it is a must-see. It is still one of the most influential movies ever made. You have to see it.
Yep.
I agree, and I don't think it's aged a minute.
No.
I think it's...
No!
And talk about quotable movies. Almost,
Yeah.
it's up there with Casablanca and The Godfather. Almost every single line is a quote. So, the new quote.
Beautiful. All right, drum roll.
"Shoot a man for sleeping with someone's wife? That's silly. Half the town be wiped out."
No, not... Mike... Oh, okay, we got it. All right, Michael's got it. I didn't know it, but we've got it. So, if you want to know the answer to that, and if you think you won't know it and you want to check, please check out our cleverly titled website, www.vintagesand.com, where we have extra information on all of our now 68 episodes, guys. We're nothing if not persistent. You've got to say that. Yes, I know.
How can that be?
I know, right? It's amazing. We're going to have to start planning a party for our 75th next year. So, I know. It's stupefying. But I was telling Mike and John that did I tell you that I went to see La La Land at...
No.
At La La Land on a big screen. I know you guys...
I saw it originally on a big screen.
I know, but it was so good, and everyone cheered after the end of the opening number. And anyway, I am newly retired, and how am I spending my retirement? By doing stuff like going to see the Paris Theater here in New York is doing a Buñuel festival, and I'm going to see on a Saturday morning Chien Andalou and L'Âge d'Or. Scabrous, surrealist brilliance from Buñuel and Dali.
And I want to recommend a contemporary movie that just
go.
came out a few weeks ago that got panned in the New York Times, and I liked it a lot, called Pressure. about
the one
World War
about D-Day and the weather people.
It is very, very good. Andrew Scott is brilliant in it.
Yeah, news.
As Eisenhower, Brendan Fraser is, I want to say miscast, but the way they wrote the part, he was actually right.
All right,
but it was a compelling movie. It's very short, like 90 minutes long.
And what new could you possibly say about D-Day? And yet the idea that if they got it when the weather was wrong, it would have destroyed the whole thing. It was dueling
weathermen.
Yeah, that's it. That's really
but it was quite good.
All right, what do you guys think hearing about the Spielberg?
I hear it's great.
Oh, really?
I hear yeah.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it. I'm gonna wait a while because supposedly all the tickets are gone for the first 2 weeks.
I don't know. I hear Spielberg's going back to sci-fi, and I'm thinking it could be E.T. or it could be AI. So you never know. You never know what life is. Spielberg's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
What I have read so far, it's neither.
It's kind of in the middle. Okay, all right. I mean, and I'm looking forward to the Odyssey. That's the only movie I'm looking forward to over the summer.
There's not a lot.
Well, it's Nolan, and I have to say this. I am just utterly appalled at the controversy that the casting of Lupita Nyong'o is.
Oh, well, that's not controversy. That's a bunch of idiot MAGA people.
First of all, let's try to be as objective as we can here. Helen of Troy is supposed to be the most beautiful woman in the world. That's what starts the whole thing. We have no idea, A, if she was real, or B, what she looked like if she was real. Lupita Nyong'o is arguably among the 5 most beautiful women in the world. So, I mean...
Come on!
I mean, people are writing, how can you do this? You're pissing on Homer's grave. We don't even know if Homer existed. So, what is the matter with people? I mean, what... Really, you've got nothing better to do? I think.
Well, it's just like there were MAGA people who were trying to say that the basketball players were doing a protest during the singing the national anthem because they didn't put their hand on their heart. It's like almost every sporting event is said. There's very few of the athletes that actually do that because they're just like concentrating on what they're about to go do.
Also, they're black.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to remember Colin Kaepernick? So there you go. And so we are...
I don't think MAGA people even watch basketball except for Trump.
Yeah. Well, he'll be at the game tonight. Okay, we got to say it, Johnny, right? Go Knicks. All right, hopefully...
Go Knicks, yes!
When you hear that... Because the last time the Knicks won a championship, I was 8. And I remember that
53 years ago,
but
I watched every playoff game that year.
I remember the first. I wasn't in
the first one.
I was in Minnesota, as a freshman for the second one, but I was here for the first, and I did watch.
They were
in 1969. That was the year the first year they
69-70.
69-70. I went to go see a Knicks game with one of my older brothers. We did not have tickets. We just went and we bought tickets from a scalper.
Wow.
2 tickets for $20.
Yep, things have changed a little bit. That would be about $16,000 for the worst seats in the house now. But we are, dear listeners, off for a couple of months to estivate, to spend our summer maxing and relaxing. So we will miss you, but hopefully, in addition to the Odyssey, there will be some other good things over the summer to see. And again, I'm hoping that Spielberg comes out on the E.T. side rather than the AI side. So please stay cool in the hot summer. And I know how you could do that. You could do that by going to see a movie in the theaters. Yay! Woohoo! Yes, you can do that. So please do. We hope that you have a great summer. We thank you as always for listening and remind you again that we are a 5 Nines and a 4 production that we want to thank. And we are in Vintage Stand Studios Sur La Mer North this time. That's for the first time in a good long time. So we thank Mama Sue for the use of the hall, Missy for her technical help, Theo for the ass-kicking logo. And again, please check out, for further information and other fun stuff, our website at www.vintagesand.com. Have an amazing summer, guys. Enjoy, relax, see some great movies, and our wish for you, as ever, is that your favorite films will always be streaming.